Okay, I have just come out of the screening of Superman, and I will say the long Snyderian nightmare is over. This is everything that this movie needed to be. It was fun, it was upbeat, it was for modern audiences in the best possible sense of that term. James Gunn is talented enough to get a message into a movie without it playing like the movie was written by a bunch of gender studies majors that hate the audience. But the movie definitely has a tone that I would call anti-fascist. If those elements of the movie end up bothering you, you're probably a fascist. You're probably a fascist. If you see yourself in rage-filled trolling monkeys in front of a computer, your problem is probably not with the film. The problem is probably something you should take up with a therapist or maybe get some exercise. Yes, there are little spoiler here. Superman being tortured in what's clearly a metaphor for a black site prison that the government has outsourced to a kind of mercenary force. Yeah, man. I mean, there are definitely elements where it's criticizing some of what's happening in the country, ICE, some of what's being done to immigrants, and things that long predate Donald Trump, going back to George Bush and things we know that our government has been doing. If those things bother you, you're probably a fascist. Now, the big question here to me is, what do a lot of these rage bait channels and commentators and podcasts, what do they do with a great movie that is clearly anti-fascist? Because a lot of them in their rage against kind of woke filmmaking and woke content, which, you know, I don't like myself, but they've been drawn into taking up very right-wing reactionary politics alongside that. And the villain here, Lex Luthor, is like one of these, you know, tech bros. That's, you know, this billionaire tech bro. And a lot of these kind of commentary channels, these nerd channels, have cozied up to these figures like Elon Musk. A lot of these Silicon Valley goons. What do they do with a movie that's about a very idealistic, illegal alien who is fighting an arrogant tech bro? What do they do with that? Do they embrace this movie? What do they do with a movie that is clearly anti-fascist, that's anti-right wing? Do they embrace it? Do they find reasons to hate it? What do they do with a movie that frankly points out that all of this rage bait and meanness is unhealthy and contrasts Superman against that? That's an interesting question. I'll be interested to see how that plays out. But it is probably the first great Superman movie since 1980, and I would really recommend it.